throw my money at whatever can make this go away. Like I kissed that bad. You lied to make yourself look good, so I whipped it behind me and it smacked somebody. I don't want to be so insecure about the people I date. You want to make an OnlyFans. I find myself very disappointed. It was a dopamine fix, no matter what. That could actually have gotten me kicked off of campus. And the guy told me I kissed like a virgin. Yeah, I want plastic surgery. I was drunk. Kind of flop in everything that I try to do. This is going to be a very brutally honest assumptions video. Some people went on a little tirade about it, and I went through some of them, and they're kind of sort of rough. They're kind of mean. Oh my God, another assumptions just came in that said none. You blow up your personality on camera, but off you are boring AF. What? Okay, question. Do you mean me in 2020? Because I have been in quarantine following the rules. I don't think I should be punished for that. But yeah, like this whole 2020, I've kind of looked back on my life and I've been like, wow, I've become so passive, so boring, and this hurts because I kind of sort of believe it. I really think I'm fun to hang out with, but I feel like I have to try to tell you I'm entertaining, and I hate somebody who's a self-proclaimed person. You try to act badass in college when you're not. I think this just goes back to what I was saying. Okay, wait, let me read this. Okay, so you try to act badass in college when you're not. Oh, so maybe they're saying like I play up my college time, but I really wasn't that cool. No, I was not that cool, but I managed to be thrown into a lot of cool experiences and scandals. You want more cats? Yes. Now, I don't know though, because I never want my kitties to feel less special, but I'd be somebody that would love to have all of these cat condos and just be in a little furry cuddle puddle. That'd be very cute. You would play Sims every day if you could. Maybe. The only thing I'd have to say to that is I go through phases. So once I am on my Sims phase, I do want to play it every day, all day, for days and days and days. But right now I am off the phase. Yeah, when I'm on the phase it is bad though, because I don't even eat all my meals. You filter your story time vids. There was like a lot of stuff about my stories that I saw, which I kind of feel like that means people like them, they miss them. There was, who was it? Oh, and then people were wondering if I ran out of story ideas. So with the filtering of the stories, I definitely do tell the story in a fun way. It's not so much trying to attack the other person. I'm so self-deprecating. Usually a story that I tell hurts me more than it hurts the other person, even when the other person was the rude person in the wrong. But I like to entertain, but I don't really like to attack people. So yeah, I mean, I guess you can call that filtering. I try to be honest though, I really do, because that's no fun to have that blow up in your face later. Because when you hear somebody tell a story, yeah, you know, like they're telling it in a funny way, but it kind of hurts. Like it hurts right here. When somebody tells a story, you believe them, and then you learn it's not even real. So I'm big on that. And then the whole that I ran out of stories, no, but it's kind of hard as I've gotten older and more mature, and then I reflect on my stories and I'm like, oh my God, like there was a time in college, freshman year, I went through this phase where I mooned people, like literally flashed my butt at them. And I realized later that could actually have gotten me kicked off of campus. It's a good thing I was cute, but I never really got caught. I didn't do it a whole lot, but like why? Why? Like that's such a guy thing to do, and I was doing that. And so I'm 27. It's a little embarrassing to tell that story and people think that's a recent thing. You dance? You dance to rap real bad, Okay, I don't really listen to a whole lot of rap unless I'm in a certain mood. It's just, I crave more pop music. But I do dance really, really bad. And I thought at one point I did hit a good peak where I was like twerking it well, like I looked hot. But I guess too many months have gone by, because then when I got on TikTok, it was bad. Like I almost then played up the bad dancing because I really didn't know how to do good dancing. You delete comments. And right off the bat, I'll tell you, like, I have been accused of deleting comments, and I don't know why, because, like, who cares what I do? Like, I am so small on this platform, but I have been accused, the bigger YouTubers get accused of this all the time, and they have, like, a sea of comments. So, right off the bat, I do want to tell you, the YouTube algorithm is also in the comment section, because they recognize that that comment section is also part of the viewing experience. They want the best of the best comments to keep you on the video longer, and therefore you can be served more ads. Like there's more value to you by keeping you entertained. Sometimes you can leave a comment and you'll notice it'll like immediately pop right there at the top, you know. Other times it jumps down, and then other times it'll jump so far down that it's just almost impossible to find. But no, like I don't think the YouTuber is deleting comments, to be honest. I have deleted comments. Usually when they're just outright mean, that I'm thinking, I don't want to see this insult displayed under my video that took 8 hours to make. Why do I have to see this comment linger and then get thumbs up? Because nobody ever thumbs down them. They always thumbs up them, and they're so mean. Like, it hurts my feelings. So if this is my channel, I'm gonna delete them. Another thing is, if they're really sexual. Now, I don't really mind. I can take a joke, like I don't really care. But what I have noticed is it leaves kind of this lasting impact. People message me something sexual, and like even if I leave it or if I engage with it, it somehow encourages other people to leave more sexual stuff. And I just don't like being sexualized on the regular. I think it's very unnecessary. My content isn't even that sexual, as you see me in the crop top. But like really, like it's not that sexual. It's just kind of fun, you know, it's just my personality. But it's just, I can't control what people will start to believe and think of me, but I can control deleting the comments. And I feel bad because it's not like I have anything against the person commenting. Just, I gotta do what I gotta do sometimes. But I hope nobody gets their feelings hurt by that. You wish your YouTube channel popped off, but, in parentheses, but I love your vids. Thank you. This is a loaded question, and I don't know which one you want. You know, the long or the short answer. When I first started YouTube, it was in 8th grade, 2008, and I was obsessed with video production. But when I post on YouTube, yes, I wanted to become famous. I wanted to be famous with my peers and strangers. Anyone and everyone was a walking view for me. I wanted them to look at my content. I didn't care if they were laughing at me. In fact, it almost was a dopamine fix no matter what. Like when I saw people, like I remember when I would do music videos, that I remember it caught on and it went viral in my high school. I was in high school with my music videos, and I would walk by a classroom, and all the classrooms had glass walls so you could see right in. And I'd walk by and somebody would be playing my music video on the smartboard. And yeah, there was a good portion of them that were doing it to be amused, entertained, and laugh at me. And I loved it. It went so well with my personality that I was totally down for being famous. Then I went through college and I was going through the motions. Like it was just fun for me. I didn't really understand the algorithm well, so that's all it could be. Like I couldn't take it seriously. I still wanted to pop off then though. Now you see me, and I'm even more serious than ever, building my brand, researching it. You know, I'm always telling you to like this video, like this video. It seems like more than ever, all I want to do is become famous. But as I've seen again and again, these big YouTubers losing their privacy, being publicly shamed or bullied, like in such a grand scale. Like, have you seen The Social Dilemma? I just don't know if I could take it. Like, I don't think any human can really take it. They find ways to cope. That doesn't sound fun to me. I don't want to be famous. Like, I don't need to be adored. Like, I have really good friends. I'm really proud of the friends that I surround myself with, that I don't want to be mixed with that. I don't want to be so insecure about the people I date that they're there to screw me over, because I feel like that already. And look at me, I'm like a puny YouTuber. Maybe too, the fact that I've been doing it for so many years, taking it so seriously and haven't popped off, it might be actually really humiliating for me. And maybe it should be, but it's just not, because I never fallen out of love of video production. And now that I can make money on this platform, I'm very satisfied. Like, I do want to make more, because I want to be able to live a real life. You know, I want to be stable. I want the retirement. I want the family. I think I'm going to cut that off there, because again, like I said, it's a long question, but I know people are curious about what's in my head when I'm here every single day for Vlogmas trying to get the views. You try to slide into every guy's DMs. Yes. Sometimes I talk about it, sometimes I don't. And it's hard because I don't slide. I mean, I do sometimes broadcast that I try to slide into people's DMs just because it's fun, it's funny, whatever. But I, at the same time, still want to do it right, because like, I hate it when people try to slide into my DMs. So I am very picky and choosy with which guys I DM. And I never try to make it sound like I just see them as a hunk of meat. Like, I'm not this horny little girl wanting to hook up with these guys. I actually am just so curious about them. Like, I want to slide into their DMs, have a conversation, see if there's a connection, and then maybe date them. I want to date you. I will sign an NDA. Like, it's not even for a story time video. But I am also one of those people that if I watch a movie and I really fall in love with the character, I naturally fall in love with the actor. And I'm like, oh God, slide into your DMs. And I remember in 13 Reasons Why, I was like, oh my gosh, all these boys, so cute. But then I looked and a lot of them were gay. Cool, but that doesn't help me out. If they were to like respond to me and right away want to hook up, I don't think I'd really be down for it. You want good vlogs, but prefer to stay inside. I feel like my inside content is pretty good. I don't know. Like, I know that when it comes to a vlog, it is nice when you're doing stuff in and outside the home. You're bopping around. It's 2020. I can't be bopping around. But I think that's fair, you know, because I like on-the-go vlogs too. You edit your pictures, just wondering, love you. Love you too. Okay, I try not to distort my body for Instagram. I do edit my face. I don't try to like distort it, like slim it down. Like, you guys know how much like I hate how my neck can look. The editing app I have doesn't really do much to that. So I think I would if I could. Like, let's say I have a screen grab and I'm playing around with it being a thumbnail. Yeah, I'm gonna like airbrush my skin. I'm going to raise my eyebrows. I'm going to make my eyes a little bigger, nice and doughy. It's kind of like a billboard. Those edited pictures do make it onto my Instagram. Just easier marketing. People like see the visual, then see the thumbnail later on. They put two and two together a little. It kind of strengthens the branding experience, I guess. And also I'm just lazy. Like, I don't really like to give myself solo photo shoots too much because I find myself very disappointed. But I do like my screen grabs that I do. I'm sorry I'm chewing gum. My mouth was so dry. Like, I drank a ton of water, but I found myself swallowing and like on camera, so I was like, I'm sorry. Your friends actually like you. I hope so. I do think my friends like me though, because they are so mature and wise, such wholesome people that I think they would have no problem making the decision of dropping me if I was toxic to them. What are you gonna post in 2021? I don't know. I am still always debating niching down. I'm going to FaceTime with Bree and have kind of a meeting about things. She has no job in marketing. She's like an accountant, and I think she's the perfect person for the job. I just try to survey people on my Instagram a lot. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, follow me there, because sometimes it's surveying, sometimes it's just fun polls. You want to make an OnlyFans, but scared. I have always secretly dreamed of making an OnlyFans. I'm not gonna lie. It's almost like weird because I don't want to call myself a sexual person because it makes me sound like I constantly crave sexual activity. I guess I have just always have been interested in the art and the money-making potential. I do wonder if I were to start an OnlyFans, if me as a person right now and my demeanor would like it. I feel like too, like, it's such a college thing to ponder over. It's like, ooh, like maybe I could do it. Like, I think I could emotionally handle this. Like, I think I'd have the motivation to keep at it. But now, I don't know. Like, and I really don't want to have doors close on me because of it. Like, I kind of flop in everything that I try to do. I'm just gonna be real here. Like, look at my YouTube channel. I don't make a lot of money. I have not popped off. So who's to say that I'm not gonna just like sell my nudes for $5 and then that would be the death of my career. Like, it's hard to date you. But that's funny because I see this other comment. This assumption says you are very chill and unproblematic. So which is it? I don't think it's hard to date me. I actually do think I am chill. I think it's hard to go on the first few dates with me because sometimes I'm a bit filterless to a point where I'll say something and realize that it implies something later on, and then guys think I'm wanting to date them right away, and I don't. Like, I can be very excited. Like, I love love, but I really value a genuine connection. I don't want a boyfriend just to have a boyfriend. So all of that is like, oh my God, if they really, really knew me, they'd be fine. They'd call me chill. You dance dirty at the club. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, I'm not the best twerker, so I'm not about to whip out moves that I don't really know how to do very well. Like, in college, I remember I was obsessed with learning to twerk at a wall. And then when I'd go to my sorority functions, I was drunk. So like, I always felt like I danced really well and I would pull all the twerking moves. But now, like when I go out, I just can't drink as much. So I'm not as buzzed. So I don't try it as much. One time I was dancing and I threw my phone at someone and it wasn't on purpose. I was literally doing this weird move that I learned in an African dance workshop, but my phone was in my hand and I was drunk, so I whipped it behind me and it smacked somebody, and it was a nice iPhone and they were so nice and they gave it back to me. That was really dumb because he probably looked over at me like, what the hell? And was seeing me doing this very weird shuffle. It was nice. It was cultural. It was art. YouTube makes you happy and sad at the same time. Yes, it is the weirdest job on the planet. It is so satisfying and unsatisfying at the same time. Like, even when you're on your highs, like seemingly your high highs, no, you're still experiencing some low lows. And it'll always just, I think that's just the thing about it. And I don't see it getting better. You play up the good girl image, but you're not. I am a walking contradiction. I'm not gonna lie. I know I look really sweet, but I also can snap into a very feisty, dominating mood. And I never know which one is me, but I'm having to learn that everything is me because people are different things. Yeah, it's a little easier in life to play up the good girl image, because the bad girl image gets a little harder to continue as you get older. And it shouldn't be that way, but that's just how it is with women. Like, you gotta stay young, to stay hot, to be relevant. And to me, I kind of see a timeline on that. Expiration date. So I do kind of play up the good girl image, but it's not fake. I seriously, in my nature as well, I'm a very obedient person. Like, I would hate to disappoint my mom. Your mom pays for everything. No. I know it seems like that, but this is a conversation she and I had, and you kind of have to just respect that. So I do live in my mom's house rent-free, but we have pets, and this is in a whole entire 4-bedroom house with a pool. So my mom is not always around, okay? She goes places. She works. And so it's also part of my job to keep up the house. But I've had a real conversation with my mom, like, do you want me to pay for X, Y, Z? And sometimes she will say, let's split it. Sometimes she'll say no. And she firmly believes that the millennials have been screwed over in life. So she's like, it's okay. Like, you pay for your own stuff, Lesley, but like, you don't need to pay additional fees to like build character, like paying rent. Like, she's fine without me paying rent. Is that okay? You lie to make yourself look good. No shade, everyone does. But I don't think I lie too much. I think I'm in a really good habit here of like owning it when I'm annoying or whatnot. You act dumb, but you're smart. I'm both. I really I never ever want to discredit how hard I worked in school, how smart I am at XYZ, but I know with my language disorder, I naturally have a small vocabulary. I also get stressed. Like, sometimes I'm filming a video and really I'm just talking to an inanimate object and I fumble on my words, and like, I know I can easily come across dumb. Like, it's a confidence thing, it's an anxiety thing, it's the pressure that I don't always know how to construct the best sentences. And I greatly admire people who are very well spoken. And sadly, I'm just not always that. And when I talk and I hear the words come out, I just am reminded again and again how poorly I speak. And then I just kind of shut down from there. Thanks for asking. You want a guy who is chill but crazy. I don't know, because I've had crazy. Yeah, I mean, I think it's really so hard to say, like, I want a guy who's this and that, when honestly, I think every human just wants another human that they vibe with. So I had this one boyfriend. We were dating on and off for 5 years. And I think we almost had it right. And I really took comfort in the fact that when we wanted to go out to dinner, like when I wanted to, he wanted to. When I wanted tacos, he wanted tacos. And I think that's where the real comfort lies in a relationship. Will you ever come to Italy? Maybe. I did go to Italy. It was a Make-A-Wish trip. You wish you were crazier and more fun. I feel like we talked about this. Yeah, I suck. Thanks. You love steak. Yes. But I will say I loved steak way more in my past because I was underweight and craving it. Like, I was starving. And now that I am on some new medication, I can gain weight. I don't crave it, but I'll always take a steak. First date, yes. You're secretly a baddie. Yes. Yes, I am. I'm a bad girl. With the spelling of this, I'm pretty sure they kind of mean more like Instagram baddie or something. Like how the influencers in LA are. Yes, I really wish Dallas had that vibe, because I would look so silly if I walked out the door wearing any of those styles. Not to say I wouldn't, but like, I think too though, when it comes to the night of going out, I can't help but subconsciously want to pick the safer option. I kind of do wish I had a little bout in LA. That'd be fun. You're a good kisser. Thanks. I have been told that, but then it was hard because before the pandemic, I went on a date and the guy told me I kissed like a virgin, and I'm just thinking, how hella rude was that? Like, then, not only that, but then he was like pushing me to ask me how many people I've hooked up with. Like, as if, like, really, like, I kissed that bad. And I just found that super rude, and really, I had to soul search about that, and I was like, it's because I just was not into him. The guy did drugs, and like, how old do you have to be to like do drugs? Like, I'm talking about drugs that like are so experimental while having a job and like going to work high. Like, I don't respect that. I'm okay with weed, but like, even then, like, as an adult, you should know, like, can you do weed and do the job at the same time? Can you not? Like, he's telling me he has no memory of his work day because of him being high, and I'm thinking, oh my God, why did I even kiss him? Like, I still judge myself for that. You hate your videos. No. Like, even when I've like filmed a video, oftentimes when I film, I'm like, oh, filming went so terribly. But then when I go to edit it, I like it. Like I'm able to piece together and like the video I put out. And then even when I've gone back to old videos, like even when I filmed them when I wasn't in the best place, I watch it and I'm like, dang, like that was still good. Like I like my content. Like no matter what I talk about or what year, I will say my storytime videos I think were much funnier back then than they are now. But I'll get back into that. But yeah, I'm sorry. I like my content. Like if you don't, why? Like I don't understand you. I think something's wrong with you if you don't. You date around, but don't show it. No, I'm so conditioned to put everything on the internet. Like even when I would go like on dating app dates, a lot of times I did vlog it. I just don't do a lot of dating apps. But yeah, I'm not dating while I'm in quarantine, just so you know. I had a boyfriend while I was in quarantine, but he was my boyfriend prior to that. Okay, we're on the final countdown here. You want plastic surgery. Nothing wrong with that. Thanks for the parentheses, because there is nothing wrong with that. It's all about preference. I really, yeah, I want plastic surgery. I want a lot. And I think most people would hear that and they think, oh, you want the fillers and your lips done and your boobies. And like, no. I'll just tell you what I want. Okay, first off, yeah, I do want Botox because it just prevents the wrinkles. You know, prevention, perfect. You know, my face is the brand of Lesley Rowland. Then, what do I want next? I want a throat lift. Not a facelift, but a throat lift. Like my throat hangs low and I'm so tired of swallowing and looking like a frog. I'm so tired of taking Instagram photos and having only 2 angles to work with. Like, you know, everybody looks bad when you have like the camera like here and you're like this and you're double chinning it. But like, that is how I look in so many angles. And it's not even fat because like, look, when I lift up, my neck is completely taut and I'm just feeling my organ, my throat. And so if I got a facelift, I think it would be so tight that I wouldn't even be able to look up. But I just want the throat lift. So I once I have a Korean friend, and I say Korean because she's all about like Korean culture and she knows about how in Korea you can do a lot of plastic surgery. So she has a friend who went to Korea to get a throat lift and she loved it. But then my friend, when I asked her about it, she said, I barely noticed the difference. It was like 2 inches. And to me, 2 inches is a lot. I will take it. I will throw my money at whatever can make this go away. I hate it. I'm tired of being insecure of it. I even made a video trying to get rid of it with doing little neck exercises. But like, I'd rather instead of doing neck exercises and getting like a little bit of progress, I want to just nip it in the butt. Let's get a throat lift in me, you know? And then another thing, I don't want a boob job. I want my bone shaven. So you can't really tell because it's not something you can even tell even if I was like naked before you. But I have an oddly shaped chest bone. I don't really talk about this. I don't. I call it my deformity. And you know how some people have, I think it's called like, it's not pectus. I looked it up and I forgot the name for my own chest bone. Some people have like an indent in their chest. Now I have this whole other alternative where the chest kind of goes out at an angle where it just kind of sticks out here. And again, when I'm lying down, you can tell. I've had guys poke at it and ask me about it, and it's just, that makes me really insecure. I hate it. Like when I'm lying down, you can see it. Everyone can see it. When I'm standing up, nobody can tell. And so I remember as a kid, I complained about it, but I was so underweight. My parents, who couldn't see it, kept thinking that it was just an underweight issue. Like it was just my bones because all my bones were showing. And I remember just being like, why won't anybody listen to me? And then I fell on my bike. I skidded on the ground. And, you know, I had the typical scabs, you know, like on your elbows, like my chin, but also on my bone right here. Like it was so obvious the bone stuck out. Nobody really cared. And I think it's because I didn't throw a full-on tantrum about it. Come to find out, I could have been wearing a brace to push the bone in. I would have grown normal, but that's not the case. So I went to a plastic surgeon And he'd be someone to do like a boob job, but I was like, I don't want that because some people have very bad experiences with that. I like my boobies. I'd rather just get this shaven off, you know, get this removed. He looked at it and he's like, I might need to send you to Children's to look at this, but what I think that they will do is they'll crack every rib and then re-angle your chest bone. So now I'll be in my 20s with open heart surgery scars. Like, I was thinking, no, I just want the bone shaven. Like, I'm okay with a little subtle change, just a little shavy shave, that's all I want. Other than that, I don't know if you count laser hair removal, but I'd love to be hairless. Like this video, leave a comment if it's like a question or an assumption, just because I can always make a part 2, because I know this is kind of like answering your questions that like you want to ask but don't really want to ask, so you like send in these cruel assumptions of me.